my dad's make it hurt.
Hello, everyone. My name's Teacher Maita, and I'm here to tell you about personality, perceptions, and attributions. How can businesses and institutions create a working atmosphere that encourages employees to learn and grow? We are future leaders of our schools. And even if the ones under us are not our employees, they are employees of the school. They are under us. Even the students are under us. We need to understand them in order for us to better communicate, in order to get along better. Only by breaking down behavior patterns into a succession of parts, according to American psychologist Gordon Allport, could we grow into our understanding of individual behavior. Individual and group behavior can be influenced by a variety of organizational factors. I'll be reporting topic 1, personality theories, social perception, and attributions. Here are the 4 personality theoretical approaches to study the personality. There's trait theory, psychodynamic theory, humanistic theory, and integrative approach. Let's start with the first one, trait theory. This personality theory advocates breaking down behavior patterns into a series of observable traits in order to understand the human behavior. The next theory is psychodynamic theory. The unconscious determinants of behavior stems from events in our childhood. Said events have a great personality on our adult lives, shaping our personality. Humanistic theory. This theory stresses that human beings are inherently good and emphasizes individual growth and improvement. Integrative approach refers to the broad theory that describes personality as a composite or combination of an individual's psychological process. Learner brings together prior knowledge and experience to support new knowledge and experiences. The scaffolding method will belong here. Now, there are 4 characteristics of personality. While there are hundreds of personality characteristics, these 4 have a particular influence on individual behavior in organization. Locus of control. This characteristic refers to an individual's generalized belief about internal control or self-control versus external control, or control by the situation or by others. Self-esteem. It refers to an individual's general feeling of self-worth. Self-monitoring. This characteristic pertains to the extent to which people base their behavior on cues from other people and situations. Positive negative affect. Positive affect. This characteristic has to do with mood disposition at work. Positive affect refers to an individual's tendency to emphasize the positive aspect of himself or herself, other people, and the world in general. Negative affect. In contrast, negative affect refers to an individual's tendency to stress the negative aspects of himself or herself, other people, and the world in general. Self-report questionnaire is the most common method of assessing personality. It involves an individual's response to a series of questions. A popular self-report questionnaire is the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or MBTI. This is the example of the personality types of the Myers-Briggs. There are 16 in total. Social perception. Social perception is defined as the process of interpreting information about another person. Social perception refers to identifying and utilizing social cues to make judgments about social roles, rules, relationship, and context. Characteristics of the perceiver, the target, and the situation affect social perception. Put simply, social perception is defined as the process of interpreting information about another person. Virtually, all management activities rely on perceptions. Characteristics of the perceiver, that would be us, that affect perception include familiarity with the person being perceived or target, the perceiver's attitude, mood, self-conception, and cognitive structure. Examples of characteristics of the target include physical appearance, verbal communication, nonverbal communication, and intentions. There are 5 common barriers to social perception. Here's the first one, selective perception. This refers to the process of selecting information that supports our individual viewpoints while discounting information that threatens our viewpoints. Example, we trust a politician based on his views while turning the other way when said politician does a crime. Said crime doesn't have anything to do with the viewpoint. Stereotype. This pertains to a generalization about a group of people. Example, we generalize millennials that are techie but lazy. That's a generalization. First impression error. It is the tendency to inform initial and lasting opinions about an individual based on the first few moments of perceptions. Example, we reject a job applicant because he did not dress well. Implicit personality theory. It is another barrier to social perception that refers to opinions formed about other people that are based on specific pattern and biases an individual uses when forming impressions based on a limited amount of initial information about an unfamiliar person. Example, if a speaker speaks English perfectly, we perceive him or her as intelligent. Self-fulfilling prophecy. This is a barrier that pertains to situations in which our expectation about people affect our interaction with them in such a way that our expectations are fulfilled. This is the phenomenon of someone predicting or expecting something, and this prediction or expectation comes true simply because the person or group believes and anticipates it. The person's resulting behaviors will align to fulfill this belief. Example, a teacher keeps saying that a particular student will grow up to be good for nothing. 10 years down the line, the student has no self-worth and commits a crime, sending him to jail. Now let's talk about attributions. Attributions is when a person uses facts and evidence they've gathered to come up with a cause for what happened. Managers are in charge of evaluating behaviors and activities throughout the company to spot potential problems ahead of time and ensure that everything is running well. We are going to be the managers. If they make mistake in their perceptions and attributions, or if they are otherwise obscured by this personal bias, this can have an impact on the organization compared to if they were just another employee. This is because management personnel are the major decision makers in the everyday operations of the company or school, and their influence in the company provides them more control. Attribution is when a person uses facts and evidence they've gathered to come up with a cause for what happened. What you assign to things like success is based on your own perception and habits, which may be incorrect due to unreasonable expectation or inaccurate information. Bias and misconceptions can obscure that reasoning, impairing a person's ability to function in the workplace and possibly contributing to diversity challenges. Attributions can be made to an internal source of responsibility, something within an individual's control. They can be also made to an external source, something outside the individual's control. As expected, attribution patterns differ among individuals. For example, success-oriented individuals attribute their accomplishments to abilities and their failures to lack of effort, both internal causes. In contrast, failure-oriented individuals attribute their failures to lack of ability and may develop feelings of incompetence as a result of their attributional pattern. Here are two very common errors in attribution. Fundamental attribution error. It is the tendency to make attributions to internal causes when focusing on someone else's behavior. It underemphasizes situational and environmental explanation for an individual's observed behavior while overemphasizing internal and personality-based explanations. I'll give you an example. A manager chastises a lazy employee for being late to a meeting and then proceeds to make excuses for being late himself that same day. Self-serving bias. It refers to the tendency to attribute one's own successes to internal causes and one failure to external causes. There's a need to maintain and enhance the self-esteem. There's also a tendency to perceive oneself in a very favorable manner. Example, a student gets good grade on a test and tells herself that it's because she studied hard. And when she gets a bad grade on another test, she says, the teacher doesn't like me. Here is a bit of reflection. Leadership, teacher attitudes, student behaviors, parental involvement, and the level of community activism is the key to how an educational institute functions. The organization or school exists to support the individuals within, not the other way around. Managing diversity in the workforce and its student population is key to eliminating discrimination and achieving effective conflict resolution for students and staff alike. Managers, supervisors, principals, and even teachers need to know the personality theories, social perception, and attributions that color our judgment. This will not only affect management style, but also everyday interaction. Here are my sources. Thank you very much for listening to my report. I hope to see you again. And if you have questions, you can message me anytime. Thank you very much.